What's going on, everyone? Your boy here, Apollo from Down, Down, Up, Up, and this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. It's time for our second Christmas movie review of the day in our lovely marathon. And what I have here is the sequel to Prancer Returns. This movie can split a lot of opinions. The funny thing is, I saw this one first. In fact, I remember around Christmas time when I was a kid, I would rent this from the library to watch. But again, it's one of those movies I left for so long, and then all of a sudden, I think I only just watched this last year for the first time in over 10 years. And I just watched it again today. And it is still something that is really splitting my opinion on things. It's a good movie. It's nowhere near the amazing connection the first movie had with everyone to become an instant classic. The first one, the emotion, the characters, the music, everything just fit into place so well, and it didn't rely on any of these stereotypes. This movie, unfortunately, does, but it doesn't quite ruin it all the way. So I'm going to go over some differences. It's going to help me talk about this movie. So here we go. First difference, obviously, if you've seen the case and if you've seen the movie in general, it's a little boy this time who finds Prancer instead of a little girl, aka Jessica Riggs from the first movie. I believe this was also the debut of this boy on the big screen. He does a good job. I believe his character 100%. The other characters, on the other hand, it's a bit much. So, unlike the first movie, where it's Jessica Riggs living with her dad and her brother on a farmhouse, and their aunt is visiting from time to time. This one, it's the little boy's living with his brother, with their mother, in what is seemingly just a normal house in the same town as Jessica Riggs. Mother's divorced, their father is in Chicago, his brother is having some hard times getting used to living there, so he wants to go back to see his dad for Christmas. If there's one thing that... Oh boy, I can't stand the vice principal character. He's creepy. It's unnecessary. The first movie didn't rely on anything like this. But he's creepy. He's hitting on Charlie's mom. And it really doesn't go anywhere besides filler for me. He is the bad guy of the movie, though, even though I didn't really think we needed a bad guy to begin with. There really wasn't anyone that you threw shade at in the first Prancer. It was the father having a change of heart at the end that made things feel so much better. But in this movie, that's not the case. It's basically just Charlie's mother looking for love, thinking maybe the vice principal has the goods. In the end, changes her mind to a much more understanding character in the movie. Tom, aka Charlie's friend, who he meets during the parade. That's what the movie starts with, and Tom tells Charlie the whole story about the first Prancer. Now let's actually get to Prancer. So, first movie, Jessica just finds the deer, or the deer finds Jessica. That's pretty much it. Little bit of magic happens, it's a beautiful moment. This movie, what happens is, it starts at school, and Charlie throws a snowball at the vice principal accidentally. He was coaxed by some bullies to try to aim for a girl, but he missed. Gets detention, gets to walk home from school late. Why he's going through the woods, I have no idea. It doesn't look as believable as a path as it did the first movie for me. Then, all of a sudden, there's a baby deer. Same marking on the forehead leads Charlie to a large, dead-like deer that he believes to be Prancer right on the spot. Also, I'm pretty sure has the white marking on the forehead. So he brings his brother to the scene, and the dead deer is, definitely dead at that point. Some snow and magic happens, and the deer just vanishes into thin air. Now, the baby deer comes into play, and that's what Charlie believes to be Prancer's son. I'm not so much against that. I guess for the sequel, they felt like they had to do something different with the whole Prancer plot. It's unnecessary, but it didn't ruin anything for me. Because, this is it. The baby deer is adorable throughout the whole movie. I'm pretty sure the real name was Doc, I think, in the credits. Such an adorable animal to watch on screen. I can't criticize that. I'm a softie when it comes to animals. A lot of people know that about me already. But then we get to one thing that ruins it for me. I cannot remember the first movie doing this. They overuse the animal noise throughout the whole movie, and it gets on my nerves so quickly for two reasons. One, completely unnecessary. I do not remember the first Prancer being that loud. Two, I swear to God, it's the camel noise from the Lego Indiana Jones games. Think about it. If you've played them, think about it. Watch the movie. It's the same noises, and it just gets on my nerves so quickly. It really just slows down my patience with the movie sometimes. So, bottom line, not bottom line, continuing on. I'm not quite finished yet. So he's keeping the deer from his mother. His brother's helping him. And then we get our sort of hermit for the movie. Now, in the first movie, in the original Prancer, it was an older lady who had no interest in the outside world coming back into her life until Jessica Riggs helped her come out of her shell. In this case, it's an older man, but it wasn't that hard for Charlie to bring him out of his shell. Just helping his cow give milk again, and then he brings the deer to be looked after there, and he just takes it like that. Like, it was not hard to bring him out of his shell. I like the character. The old man does a great job, especially at the end when he's helping free the deer. But there's just something about the way he turned face, and if you're watching me talk because you know about my wrestling terms, you're going to understand that phrase. He turns face way too quickly. Way too quickly. That is something I'm going to complain about straight away. And he doesn't get like that emotional connection like the old woman in the first movie. So that's also a downplay. Now I'm trying to think, okay, I guess bottom line, the deer does escape his place. He goes to look for Charlie in the school, bites the vice principal. Charlie escapes with the deer into the woods, trying to take it to Antler Ridge, even though I'm pretty sure it's like 2 days before Christmas Eve. And yes, Charlie wants to do the same thing Jessica did in the first movie. Take him to Antler Ridge and watch him go fly to Santa. Even though we didn't see that in the first movie, we sort of just assumed it, and then a little bit of lights happened at the end. Charlie and the deer go far, search parties are looking for them, somehow they survive the night, and then Charlie actually falls off of Antler Ridge trying to teach Prancer how to fly, and okay, he's hit bad, he's sort of broken his arm. The deer rushes to get his mother and Tom to help Charlie out of there. The deer gets taken to the pen, but Charlie ain't putting up with it. He gets his crew together, some friends, some new friends, get that deer out, take it up to Antler Ridge, and they actually show the deer flying away. It was as clear as day. The deer is running, and it takes off, joins Santa. It is not as not lopsided. It's not, actually, no, it's way more obvious than the first movie. I don't know about this, because this movie hits some good strings. There's some music in it that I actually really like. In fact, I think one of the songs is so close to being in the Page Master, and that is just one of my favorite animated movies. If anyone has seen it, you'll understand why. If you haven't, the Page Master is another one to check out. But Prancer Returns. Did this movie need to get made? No, it didn't. Do I still enjoy this movie to its day? Yes, because it connects me to my childhood, and this is something I watched. Is it way too over-stereotyped with subplots that I didn't need to put up with for a Prancer movie? Without a doubt. So with Prancer Returns, I'm going to go over my biasm and be completely honest with you. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't give it the chance like you would give Prancer. If you are interested and go into it with an open mind and low expectations, this would be a good movie for you. If you are expecting anything like the first movie, don't. Put on the first movie again. Put it on every Christmas. It's so touching. And I'm so glad I can go over my own biasm to say that, because I never watched the original when I was a kid. It was this one. I don't hate this movie, but I don't recommend it if you're looking for something like the original Prancer. That's all I have to say. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is going to be the last one of day 11. Like, share, subscribe. hit me up with your favorite Christmas stuff. We're gonna get closer. It's 2 weeks till Christmas to this day, so things are gonna start to pick up quick. Gonna get through some of my favorite classics starting next week. Because no, I don't think there's gonna be anything out this weekend. I will be back Monday for hopefully 3. We'll see what's going on. Stay tuned, everybody. Love you guys. Getting closer. Keep it real.